And welcome back, guys. How's it going today? I got Meat and Beans with me, and today our topic is going to be about cryptocurrency. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the Prime sub. I really appreciate that. Yesterday, I made a TikTok about how this gentleman was talking about how us printing more money and stuff like that. We think that's going to be. It was very interesting, the video on TikTok. I think it got about. Let me check. I think it got about like 15 or 20,000 views. But it was pretty significant to where I got a lot of hate comments, believe it or not. And the overall point is really simple. Let me go back here. 25,000 views. 25,000 views. And we might play it on here. I wonder if it'd be a good idea to play it. Like, long story short, it was just crazy how many people were just trying to tell us how crypto was not going to be the future, or that even including it into the future was stupid. We good to go over there,
Yeah.
Meat and Bean?
Yeah, sorry. I accidentally adjusting my camera and accidentally pressed the lock button because it's my phone, so it just completely.
Yep. No worries.
Um, I think we should play it because I think the dude has a lot of good points.
Right.
I mean, well, he didn't really make that many points, but his way of thinking, I think, is potentially correct.
Yeah. Go there real quick. I'll go to it. I'm gonna bring it up on the other page quick.
We just decided to print.
All right. So we got that here. Bring it up on here. You guys should be able to hear it. I think you heard it for a second there, if I'm being honest. All right. Watch this TikTok and then tell me what you guys think.
$1.9 trillion. That's about 10% of the M2 money supply. We've increased the amount of dollars in existence by 10% because for some reason we think that will fix everything. In honor of this ridiculousness, I'm buying more Bitcoin. I put a link in my bio for my favorite place to buy it. This is honestly so dumb. Imagine you paid $1 to buy a sandwich. If someone gave you and everyone else more dollars, does that mean there would magically be
Oh, no,
more
does that not
sandwiches to
like
buy? It means the people with the sandwiches will eventually just ask for more dollars in return for the same sandwich. In other words, the dollars become worth less money. Your response to that might be to say that it's more complicated than that. My response will be to buy more Bitcoin. We just decided.
So that was from Nat. What are your thoughts on Nat, Mr. Meat and Bean?
So his point of the government just printing money is absolutely true,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been true probably since before we were even alive.
Yeah.
Back in the day, like way back in the day, there used to be bonds.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of a single situation that I know of where the government has utilized bonds since I've been alive. It's 1988. So where's all this extra money coming from? It just seems like, oh, we need money for this. Boom, it's there. We have it done. Where did it come from? Are we taking loans from other countries? Which sure we are.
Yeah.
Are we, where's this coming from? They're literally just printing it. Where did this 1.9, what was it? Trillion? It was trillion, right? Not
Brilliant.
billion.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah. Where did
Arline.
this $1.9 trillion come from? That's a lot of money.
It is.
That's a ton of money. Now, money used to be it used to be backed by something physical.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we wouldn't trade paper money. It would be golden coins or silver or bronze or
So,
whatever. It was a precious metal of value. Um, then the governments all hoarded that stuff and said, okay, instead of giving you, coins made out of this metal or whatever, we're going to give you a note that is equal to the same value.
mm,
And it was equal to the same value for a while. But then it started to depreciate and depreciate and depreciate. And if you look at, so here's a good example. The value of gold is not constant or consistent. It
mm,
changes. It goes up and down.
yep.
But our dollar doesn't change. Why would that be if it's backed by gold?
Yeah.
Not. It's not
Yeah.
backed by gold.
What is it backed by?
I have no clue. That's the problem.
Who can tell us
I
in the
personally
chat what
don't
our
think
money
it's
is
backed.
backed up by? I really want to know
I
this
don't.
answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's backed up by anything. You know what? I'm going to Google it right now. What is the U.S. dollar backed by?
You, what you're talking
It's a
about,
common question.
yeah, what you're talking about, by the way, is what a lot of people are fighting about on my page. When what I was trying to talk about is really, really simple. I feel like if you watch that YouTube video I leave in there, which maybe we need to rewatch that one, guys, when you, it's the future in terms of here's gold, and everyone's like, I don't want gold. Right now, they don't want gold. They're gonna wish like just the same thing with gold back then. You wish you had a bunch of gold because it becomes more, it becomes worth something. And on top of that, it's the same thing with crypto. Crypto is going to be a new currency. It really just depends on one thing, in my opinion. And Meat and Beans might disagree with me on this. If the more government involvement in cryptocurrency, the more that I feel like the value of it is going to go down. And that's just my sense because what made cryptocurrency so lucrative, and it's bad and good in the same time, is that you could buy and sell stuff and there was no trail essentially, which is good and
Yep.
bad. It's good that, hey, the government's not getting their hand in it, and it's bad in terms of the bad guys are doing bad things, if that makes any sense.
So I partially agree with you. I
Yeah.
don't mind if the government has their hand or at least knows what's going on with cryptocurrency. For example, let's say
Yeah.
the US dollar is all of a sudden backed by Bitcoin. You know, let's just say that's the case.
Hmm.
Um, the government to do that would have to have their hand in Bitcoin, meaning that they would have to know how much you have, where you spend it, how you
Yo.
spend it, so they can tax you. That's just kind of how that works. I'm fine with that, although I
Yeah.
hate taxes. That's a whole nother conversation. But um, the government owning cryptocurrency and then handing it to its citizens is something I'm not fine with. That's what
Hmm.
they've done with gold.
Yeah.
Back in the day when gold became the standard or the backing of our currency, they handed out notes. They didn't give us gold. They said, here's a dollar bill. This
Yep.
dollar bill is a portion of gold. It's worth the same thing. And there's a point on this. I'm on this gold and silver safely or buygoldansilversafely.com.
Yeah.
And there's one little sentence that just immediately stood out to me of this whole paragraph.
Yeah.
Guess what, folks? A dollar bill is not lawful money, but rather legal tender.
Yeah. Isn't it a debt though? Yeah. Have you ever read that what it states on the dollar specifically states that is a debt? So
Yep.
technically,
The
it's
government owes you
a dollar. Yeah.
that money.
Yeah. Exactly. Because
A
you're
dollar
given.
worth of gold.
Yeah. So it's not backed by gold. It's backed by the government, which legally it's a debt, but they don't have to pay us. Like they don't have to be like, I could have all my, well, what was the, not to get too off topic, but wasn't that the problem with like, and that's why they made it to where the banks were insured. That way your dollar didn't just lose value completely. That might be a different
Yep.
topic for a different day. Yeah. Because people started hoarding their money. They wouldn't put it into banks and they wouldn't put it into companies or invest because they were so worried that it wouldn't be worth anything. They wanted to keep their money to themselves, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's
So
a different topic for a different
I'm gonna
day. Go ahead.
read off this paragraph.
All right.
Since 1971, U.S. citizens have been able to utilize Federal Reserve notes as the only form of money that, for the first time, had no currency with any gold or silver backing. That's the date when gold didn't matter anymore, pretty much. This is where you get the saying that U.S. dollars are backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. In other words, Nixon implied, take our paper dollars or don't.
Yeah, that I was gonna say. I was trying to figure out which president it was. I knew it wasn't Kennedy. He died in '63. Lyndon B. Johnson, and I knew Nixon took over after that. So Nixon got this not approved. It might not have just been Nixon, but the government decided to approve this. And was that when I wish we could see, was the dollar at their all time, like the dollar fluctuates, correct? Going up and down in value, correct? I wonder if that was
Depending
when
on
we
what
were,
the government does.
yeah, I wonder if that's when we were at our all time high and he was trying to
It was.
capitalize on that.
The U.S. at this time was a world superpower, having been victorious in World War II, and there really wasn't much anyone can do about the decision by the United States government to abandon metal backing.
Yeah.
What does a dollar or Federal Reserve note represent? What Now that gold and silver are no longer backed by any currency printed in the U.S., a dollar bill used to say This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private, and is redeemable in lawful money at the United States Treasury or at any Federal Reserve Bank. Look at a dollar bill today. It simply says this note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. In other words, you can't redeem it for any lawful money.
Mm, that sounds so. The reason we're going to this is the point of that video.
Hey,
So
groundsman, yes, that is Eric Grogan.
yeah, but that's the whole point of that video that we just showed you. It's not where the money went. It's not are we going to, be able to recover that money or what that money's being used for. It's the fact that that dollar doesn't have the same representation that it had when your grandparents were alive, when your mom and dad were alive. It's different now. And going back to that, cryptocurrency, it's so how would you define cryptocurrency's worth? Do you have a good answer on that one, Beaten Bean?
So here's the thing with cryptocurrency is there's a limited supply of it. Let's take Bitcoin, for example.
Yeah.
There is only so much Bitcoin that will ever be mined, per
Mm-hmm.
se, and that'll ever be in circulation. It would be like let's say there was an entity in the world that literally mined all gold in the whole entire planet, and they had all of it, and that was it. So there was blah 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 amounts of pounds of gold, and that was
Yeah.
it. That's all that was in there, and then that gold was in circulation. So cryptocurrency is kind of the same way, especially like Bitcoin or Ethereum and stuff like that.
Mm.
The people that release or build these cryptocurrencies say, look, there's going to be 25 million coins. That's it. That's all there's going to be. And then once all that's mined, which is something that people are talking about potentially with Bitcoin, is when it's all mined, the value of it's going to skyrocket because the demand isn't going to match the supply. The supply is going to be lower than the demand.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of how it was with gold for a while.
Yeah.
Why gold would go up really high and then sometimes it would go down is because the supply and demand fluctuated. Cat is wrecking havoc right now. Sorry about that.
No worries.
So I don't know too much about it, but I have a feeling that the reason why something like Bitcoin or some other type of cryptocurrency would become a currency in the future is one of all the security stuff behind it, the fact that it's decentralized, all the technology that allows transactions to be almost instantaneously verified and sent wherever you want. I think in the future, at some point, it's going to be the currency simply because of that.
Really,
But
for all over or just
also
America? I want to clarify on that.
world over, even if we go to Mars and whatnot, it would probably be the same way there.
That would explain
Um,
why Elon is so into that. Why he's into
oh yeah,
crypto. Holy shit.
oh
But
yeah.
keep going, man. Keep going.
So, but on top of that is we would be going back to a situation where we have a limited number of supply of something that backs something. It's being backed by something, and not a government entity or a corporation or anything like that. It's there, it exists, its value is decided by the people, kind of thing.
What is it backed up by, though? If you don't mind me asking, like, what is Bitcoin? What's really backing it besides the limited amount? Because what it feels like to me when I first started learning about it, it feels like baseball cards. It feels like you have limited edition baseball cards, and right now their value is really high because there's a limited amount. Eventually, that price is going to stabilize because we're going to deem something worth this much, but people aren't going to pay that much for it. You have a good answer
Yeah.
back to that?
So, cryptocurrency isn't backed by anything other than the people.
Yeah.
So, if the world decided one Bitcoin is not worth $56,000 anymore, it's worth $1, it'll eventually be $1. But the problem is or it's not necessarily the problem. The thing is that's not how the world works. So
Yeah.
somebody that has, 200,000 Bitcoin and it's worth $56,000 right now, they're not going to go sell it for $1. They're gonna be like, "You want this Bitcoin? All right, it's $56,000 for one Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Are you not? You're not gonna buy? Okay, don't buy it then. It's kind of like that. It's the same thing as gold. If we go back into the days where we literally traded in gold coins and silver coins and stuff like that, if a vendor said, no, this piece of chicken here is worth 4 silver coins, and
Mhm.
somebody was like, well, I don't want to pay 4 silver coins for it. Well, okay, then don't pay 4 silver coins for it, because someone will come pay 4 silver coins for this. There's always that. It goes like that with anything. You're selling a car. You're like, this car to me is worth $6,000, and somebody comes on, no, it's worth three. It's like, it's worth three to you. It's worth six to me.
That's
So
true.
I'm just gonna hold off until I find somebody else that feels like it's worth $6,000. Now you could get unreasonable, of course.
Yeah,
You can
that's
say,
where I was
"Oh,
about
my
to go
car's
with
worth
that.
$1 million," and it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to be circulated if that's the case. So
Yeah,
that's what I think. What's great about it is it's the people that decide. That's it. It's like, look, we have. I don't know how many Bitcoin that will be in circulation. I'm sure it's. I think it's in the billions, but I think there is absolutely enough to where everyone in the world can have at least one Bitcoin.
yeah,
So, in my opinion, that's enough for any type of currency. If everyone in the world can own at least one piece of that currency, then that's enough. Of course, there's going to be people out there that own a whole lot more. You know, the tiers of economics and whatnot. Um,
you want to know what it kind of
but the
sounds like?
simple fact,
Yeah,
what's that?
you want. It sounds like when you're explaining this, as long as there's no corruption, it sounds like pure capitalism at the end of the day, to where the free market determines what it is. But there's as long as there's no corruption, like as long as
Yeah,
nobody's manipulating it, and it is up to the people who want to buy it, and it is up to the people who want to sell it, and nobody can get their get their hands into it, if that makes any sense, and manipulate it. Because that sounds like it would be, I could get behind that kind of future a little bit more now, considering stock markets are a totally different thing. But I do believe there's a lot of manipulation there. But with crypto, I just see people buying and selling. I don't see people like, I haven't seen one government, or you know what I mean? Like, is anybody trying to push a cryptocurrency besides their own cryptocurrency? You know what I mean? Yeah,
not really. No, no huge government or corporation or anything like that is
yeah.
pushing a cryptocurrency, because currently today, cryptocurrency is no different than stocks, in my opinion. That's
Hmm.
it. You're instead of publicly trading stocks, you're publicly trading cryptocurrency for your corporation. Um, so there's a ton of cryptocurrencies that are literally backing tech companies. You know, like,
Hmm.
hey, I'm building this worldwide transaction sharing software, and we
Yeah.
created a cryptocurrency so you guys can start trading in it, and we value our company at $5 million, and we're going to release so many coins out. And you know, they do the thing where they half the coin when it gets to a certain point, just like regular stocks do, and all that. But the there are some coins out there that really serve no purpose other than, like, they don't back a company or anything. Like Bitcoin, for
Yeah.
example, we don't even know who the actual founder of Bitcoin is. I mean, they know the person's name, but nobody can find pictures, or nobody's talked to the person or anything like that.
Mm.
Um, and there's a lot of coins out there like that. Like, for example, Dogecoin, that was a meme, an
Yes.
absolute meme. They created it for no reason whatsoever, didn't back anything, no company or anything like that. One of the founders of Dogecoin doesn't want anything to do with it at all. He signed all of his stuff away, and the other founder's like, okay, well, it's going somewhere, so we might back it by something. We might create a company or whatever, that kind of thing, because it would be profitable. Now, can it be manipulated? Yeah, Bitcoin gets manipulated all the time. You have those people that own a ton of the Bitcoin,
Mm.
like a huge fraction of it. They really truly can decide what happens with that Bitcoin. They can hold it forever. They can sell certain portions of it, that kind of stuff. It would be like being the majority stockholder in a company. You get to make the decision.
I
The
don't disagree with you on that part, but by manipulation, I mean, for example, um, this is
printing
it's
money.
yeah, kind of, but also kind of like this. Like, this is not anything political at all. I don't care who the president is. I don't care who's in charge. You notice how they're changing. They said they want to change all the government vehicles to electric, which is great. But
Yeah.
you know how much that's helping whoever they make that deal with. I feel like is manipulation, whether it's with Tesla. whether it's with Ford, which by the way, that Ford Mustang SUV was kind of cool looking. We'll talk about that some other time. But it's like I feel like there's manipulation there where with Bitcoin, it would just depend on which currency. Like I don't think you can have influence. Now, I know you said like the bigger guys can sell and buy, but that's just with anything in general, with any quantity and price. Like if I have 3,000 Fords and I sell all of them, well, yeah, the price is going to go down a little bit. But I feel like at the end of the day, there won't be any true manipulation like there is in the stock market, which is there's plenty of it. You can see little paper trails of it. Like, once again, not political or anything, but seeing certain Congress people have call options in the future with Tesla. Like,
Yep.
it's smart on their part, but it's also like, why would they make that bet? And they know full well why. And it's the same thing with Bitcoin. I feel like you can't do that. You can't predict what the future of Bitcoin is going to be. Otherwise, I think there would be more people in it. We would have bought more when it was at 4,000. What do you think drove the
Oh yeah,
price up
absolutely.
from 4,000 to now, to 56,000, 60 yesterday?
It's simply what people are willing to purchase it at. It's that simple. So a year ago, like you said, it was 4,000.
Yeah,
People weren't really willing to purchase it at 4. So let's say you have a sell order for 4,500.
yeah,
That sell order sits there for 6 months and nobody's buying it. Okay, so you drop that sell order to 4,200. Someone buys it.
yep,
Oh, great. So the last transaction was sold at 4,200. I'm going to sell mine for 4,250. Sold. 4,300. Sold.
yeah,
And it's like an auction almost. It always goes off to the last transaction price. And
hmm,
if you look up a trading view of Bitcoin, they literally show you the transaction prices. And why it's a little bit volatile is because it's happening it's so fast that you might see a transaction happen for, I think right now it's at 50,000. I haven't looked at it today, 50,000 or whatever.
hmm,
You see one go 50,200, and then you put yours in for 50,250, and then you see one get sold for 50,600. Then yours gets sold, and you're like, oh crap, I could have got six, that kind of
yeah,
thing. But it just keeps going up because people are selling and buying higher and higher and higher.
hmm,
Um, I want to step back a little bit. One of my viewers, Bill Bro, brought up a good point that there's less than 20 million Bitcoin
yeah.
in circulation. So the actual number, I don't know if this is to date, but this article states there's only about 18.5 million Bitcoin in existence, and there will only ever be 21 million in the future. So
Why is
21
that?
million is the cap.
Why is that the
That is
cap?
what they decided. That is what they decided. They put 21 million
Who
Bitcoin out there, and
who
that's it.
decided?
Every time, every time you mine a Bitcoin, or let me just read this. So this number changes about every 10 minutes when new blocks are mined. Right now, each new block adds 6.25 Bitcoin into circulation. And this was there's no date on it. So I'm assuming this is current. But so right now, mining is a big part of Bitcoin. So imagine if you can do something for Tesla. Like everyday person can just do something for Tesla, and Tesla says, "Okay, thank you. Here's a portion of my stock." We give out a portion of stock. That's basically what mining cryptocurrency is. You lend out processing power for them to validate transactions and stuff like that, and you get a kickback of a fraction of Bitcoin for your proof of work, pretty much.
Yeah,
So there's people like I've been doing that get small portions of Bitcoin for just lending out processing power. When it reaches 21 million, there's nothing to mine anymore. So I'm curious about this because you still need to have that processing power to validate transactions and whatnot. So I'm wondering how that's going to work. If instead of you getting that flat rate kickback, if it's now going to be based off of the current price of Bitcoin. Like let's say it's I don't know 2% of every transaction you get a kickback in. So if Bitcoin's at $56,000, you get 2% of 56,000
yeah,
every time you validate a transaction or whatever. I don't know if that's how it's going to be, but I can definitely say that my belief is when we run out of Bitcoin, the price is going to go way up
yeah.
because there's going to be 21 million of it. That's it. No one can get any more unless they buy it. So the demand for it's going to go way up and the supply is going to be way down. because it's all going to be dependent on the people that are willing to sell it.
So theoretically, when we've mined everything, it would be set at a certain price because that's what we value it at, correct?
One Bitcoin being set at a specific price? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to change for a while. I think it would take quite a few years after we've mined all Bitcoin for Bitcoin to somewhat stabilize.
Okay,
And
that's what I was
only at
asking.
that point would it be a potential worldwide currency.
Right now, it's a worldwide currency technically, but you have to do it. Will it ever be just, for example, like we use Coinbase? You have that in your link tree now, right? You have your link tree up?
No.
About to whoop your ass, son. So
I know, I know. I
I
will
have
today.
I have my link tree up, and you'll see that I have it on there, labeled as a free Bitcoin. You click on that, you'll be able to use Coinbase to get a slice of Bitcoin. I would do it if I was you. I've earned a little bit from each little slice like that, and honestly, you're not investing that much into it to where you feel like you're going to go bankrupt. With that being said, we use Coinbase, and you use Coinbase Pro, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Will there ever come a time where, for example, like I understand, and everyone explained it like this to me, and it made a lot of sense. Where do you go get your money? Well, when you go to use it at a restaurant, or long story short, your credit card or whatever, all that stuff, your money is through there. Will there ever be like a cryptocurrency credit card where I'm backed by Bitcoin?
Yeah. I absolutely I absolutely believe that's how it's going to be. It's not going to be paper money anymore. I mean, even right now, um, I don't. The only time I ever use cash is when I sell something. If I sell something like a car or something like that, the person brings cash.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm happy to just accept Venmo or PayPal or I mean, there's a bunch of other ones out there that I have as well. Those are all digital transaction type apps. So I have
Mm-hmm.
no doubt that there will be apps that spring up that allow you. Actually, there are already a bunch of them out there
Yeah.
that
Someone
allow
just,
you to send transactions.
you know
You
what?
know, like, oh, I'm selling this guitar. It is 0.00053 Bitcoin. That's how much I'm selling it for. And this person goes, okay, I want to buy the guitar. I've checked it out. I like it. I'm going to send you 0.00053 Bitcoin. Boom, done. It's in now my wallet, and you can have the guitar.
You know what I
So
think's gonna?
Coinbase is
Yeah.
kind of like that.
I, hear me out here. Coinbase is just starting out, which is great and everything. Visa and Mastercard have a ton of money, and their stock is at a certain price because you use them right now. I say this all the time. Look in your wallet. You use either Visa, Mastercard, or American Express if you have any kind of debit card or credit card. I could see Visa seriously making it to where, yeah, we accept crypto, and when they
Yeah,
do that, their value is going to skyrocket. So maybe
absolutely.
we should look at call option 3 years from now, because I think that's as far out as you can go for Visa. I'm gonna look it up right now, real quick, because I want to see. Because here's what I'm thinking: like, what company or what, I guess, what credit card company or what bank, I should say, banking institution do you think will do it first? They all pay, yeah. I think that list goes on. It does, but how many of them are going to accept Bitcoin? The first one to accept and let you utilize your Bitcoin is going to be tremendous because I know PayPal is letting you buy cryptocurrency, but I don't know if they let you use it to pay for stuff. And I know
No,
you can
they
use
don't.
Bitcoin to buy your Tesla, which would be like the gold. It's going to be Visa or MasterCard. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to look up and see what the
So
options. Go ahead,
I
man.
absolutely think it would be, or sorry, I think it would be Mastercard or Visa. Absolutely. Right now, I have purchased things with Bitcoin before,
Mm-hmm.
usually software or something random like that.
Yeah.
And right now, you don't do anything other than, hey, here is, they give you a deposit code pretty much. And you put that
Mm-hmm.
deposit code in Coinbase, for example, and you say, hey, Coinbase, I want to withdraw this much Bitcoin and send it to this deposit code.
Yeah.
And the site will just sit there and wait for it and goes, oh, here we go. I got the Bitcoin that, I was requesting. Here's your product. Let's say you buy Windows or a game or something like that off of some random site. Whereas a Visa or MasterCard would essentially be instantly linked to all of um, these markets, so to speak. So I would actually view Coinbase as kind of like my bank.
Hmm.
They call it a wallet currently,
Yeah.
but my wallet has blah 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 amount. It's my bank account pretty much for cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And Visa would link up to my quote unquote account number, which would be my withdrawal and deposit link or code.
Mm.
So Visa would have my withdrawal and deposit code, and when I swipe my card, it's going to withdraw from my account, and if I get somebody refunds me money or whatever, they would send it back via the deposit. So I don't see it being impossible. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do it if it's really honestly, it is up to the people
Yeah, that's true.
to a certain extent. To
Yeah.
a certain extent, because obviously I can't pay any of my bills in Bitcoin right now or any cryptocurrency. I just
Yeah.
can't. They don't accept it. But as soon as companies start accepting Bitcoin, which will only happen when the government can validate that, oh, you took so much income from Bitcoin, so they can tax you
Hmm.
appropriately off of it. I guarantee you, I'm going to start purchasing Bitcoin and paying things with Bitcoin. Um, and then if you imagine getting paid instead of getting direct deposited cash or US dollars, you're getting direct deposited Bitcoin at whatever the current rate is.
Now,
And
I
it just
want
goes
to.
wild.
That will be cool, but it'll also be scary because if Bitcoin is fluctuating a lot, let's say you got paid 2 grand one week in Bitcoin, that 2 grand drops to $500 on you because the Bitcoin is constantly moving. If that makes any sense, or going up and
That's
down.
why it won't work right now. But you gotta also think about the US dollar, the British pound, yen, the ruble, all those different type of world currencies we have today
Hmm.
all fluctuate. But they just don't fluctuate as volatile as Bitcoin does or any type of cryptocurrency does currently.
You think?
So that's what I'm saying is it's not possible to do it today at
Got it.
all. If the US government came out tomorrow and said our new currency is Bitcoin, I would flip a fucking lid because you're exactly right. Because today, oh great, I have $400 worth of Bitcoin. Tomorrow I could have $4.
Yeah, that makes more
So
sense.
I wouldn't be okay with that. We would have to wait until all the Bitcoin has run out. You can't mine it anymore. We have the full supply in circulation, or almost, because there's people that have lost a ton of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
It's gone, never to be retrieved again. But we have our supply, and there is no more supply being introduced. It's going to stabilize. Once it stabilizes, that's when we see this start happening.
You want to know a company that I think might be really sneaky? And so I want to read the Visa may add cryptocurrency to payment networks. It doesn't say anything yet. Someone just said that they already do. PayPal. I'm trying to find a good
I
answer
wouldn't
on
be
that.
surprised if they're gearing up for it at
Well,
all.
here's the one company I want to point this out now because it didn't cross my mind until I started looking at when someone said, you know how they have Google Pay, Facebook Pay, Apple Pay. Now listen, Apple has enough capital. I'll look it up one more time. I think it's in the trillion of just cash chilling. So if there was a company to really like take this, yeah, cash on hand. Let's see how much Apple has cash on hand. Sorry, Apple had 195 billion in cash on hand, up to 3.7 billion as well. But they have enough 195, and then they have 3.7 billion as well there. So just hear me out here. Everyone loves Apple Pay. They love doing that, clink clink. If they were to get into it, that would be another company to look in long term to see what they're going to do. Now, the only thing with Apple is they try to put their hands in so many things, and it's kind of what makes them a good company and makes it hard to like. So they could focus a little bit on crypto and then immediately be like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to move on. You know, that's all the time. Like today, they just stopped doing their pod speakers. They discontinued that. They discontinue stuff all the time. So I could see them trying to get into that and being like, you know what, it wasn't for us. We're going to get out before we lose any more money. Going to, or they might do the electric car. But going back to Apple, Apple has enough money to really take advantage of that. And I'm not saying other companies don't, but not many companies have what Apple has, which is a consumer already with their phone, already using Apple Pay. Like, believe it or not, some people don't have Visa. I don't know how that's possible considering you usually need a debit card, and the debit card is usually Visa. You can always check it. But Apple, everyone has a phone. And if Apple Pay is being utilized and they're taking cryptocurrencies and they implement that with their own thing, like, hey, use crypto, or when you buy Apple Pay money, if that makes any sense, it's actually a form of crypto. It would be a sneaky company to really watch out for that would probably blow up in that regard. Getting your cat?
Yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is, if you have Apple Pay, you have a Visa card.
Oh, really? Damn. If you have Apple Pay,
I
you have a
can't look on
Visa?
my phone right now, but if you open up your Apple Pay right now, there's one that's going to say Apple Card and it's going to show Visa at the bottom left, and that is how Apple Pay works. That is how Google Pay works, and Venmo and all of those transaction type apps do actually go through Visa or MasterCard or something like that, which is why you can actually order a physical debit card from Venmo, from PayPal, from, what are the other ones? I don't know what the other ones are, but you even I don't know if they do it, but technically you could get a physical card from Apple Pay and Google Pay and so on.
Yeah, the
It's
fact that
possible.
it's Visa makes me feel more like I need to buy Visa call options 3 years from now. Because I could see it changing tremendously. Right now, the
Yeah.
cheapest one that I would even do, and this is the cheapest one, because the thing is with call options, they expire. So you're not really owning the stock. I'd probably be better off buying the stock. But if you did options for Visa and you went all the way to January 23rd, which is as far out as you can go, the cheapest one, and you have to hope it hits this strike price or climbs up to it, is $340. It's 220 right now. So even if you do pick that one, you got to pay $470 to own a stock that you hope will hit $340 2 years from now. Yeah, the one that I would do would probably be the it went up already. It would be the 291, so it's moving right now because I think it could hit 290, but that's something to look into. I didn't know that. I didn't know Apple, Venmo, Google Pay, they all basically have to go through Visa, which would make sense because Visa is technically a bank, correct? Or are they just a credit card company or a card company? You know what I mean? Like are they just a
I don't
middleman for
know.
transaction? Maybe they're a
The
middleman.
way I've always viewed them is the middleman, which is
Yeah.
smart. They got in. They
Hmm.
saw a need. They're like, hey, we need a need for electronic transactions. So boom, Visa, Mastercard, Discover, all these people came out. And they're like, hey, we got this.
Yep.
We'll link
That's
up
it.
to your account, and we link up to all these other accounts, and all we got to do is just get people with point of sales to link up with us as well, so you can just
Hmm.
simply swipe your card, no giving $20 when it's 19.50, so you get 50 cents back, and then all of this crap, you just swipe
Yeah.
your card and done. So
So
that was the first stepping stone to a digital currency,
yep.
um, which is why I see Visa, Discover, MasterCard, all those types of companies quickly and easily moving towards Bitcoin whenever, if and when it ever gets to that point.
So
So
Visa.
there's something I
Yeah. Go
want to
ahead.
talk about, that my viewer Bilbro brought up, is like Bitcoin is also a big thing for all the gambling sites too. No credit card, no photo ID checks, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's basically the only value of cryptocurrency currently today, is the fact that the government doesn't have its hand in it. They don't. The government has no idea how much Bitcoin I have right now, except for when I sell it. Once I sell it, then the government knows. So there's a thing about um, Binance. Binance was probably one of the biggest cryptocurrency trading market sites out there for years, but they're from China.
Yeah.
And the government got smart about it and was like, wait a second,
Yep.
this is becoming big. We're not going to allow Binance in the U.S. anymore unless they come here and open up a company in the U.S., which they
Yeah.
eventually did. But then that's where Coinbase kind of was like, hey, we're a U.S. company. Hey, U.S. government, what do you need us to do to be valid? Like, what can we do? And the government basically said, we need to be able to tax this type of stuff.
Hmm.
So now on Coinbase, there are forms that I could print out that show how much I have sold how much I bought, and all this other stuff that I can now report on my taxes. Whereas before, there was nothing there. Now, the government still doesn't have their hand in it automatically. Like, for
Yeah.
example, I get paid from my company. The government immediately knows he got paid this much. This much came out for taxes, or nothing came out for taxes because he claimed exempt, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
The that still isn't the way it works with cryptocurrency yet, and it will need to get that way for the government to use it as
Yeah.
the currency of the United States. But for right now, yeah, it is great for that. If I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to go on the black market and buy something shady, I can buy it with Bitcoin. The
Yeah.
government won't know what I bought. They'll just know that I used blah 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 amount. I traded. That's how it looks like. I traded, this much Bitcoin. That's
Yep.
it. They don't know what I traded it for. It could have been for another cryptocurrency. It could have been for US dollar. It could have been for 10 million, AK-47s and 50 billion rounds of 7.62 for all. They don't know.
Yeah.
So
That was
I
kind of how
think,
cash worked at one point. If I remember
yeah,
correctly, cash was
yeah,
just
and I
not,
think,
everyone wanted to pay cash because it couldn't be traced. And then the government was like, but by the way, but
yeah,
before we go any farther, we just need to remember this. There's a credit card that I want to talk about real quick. But I want you to finish your
okay.
statement first, if you're okay with that.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's gonna be the same thing because the government's not gonna want to give that up.
Yup.
So I think that's gonna be kind of like a little bit of a strong arming type thing. But here's the thing, at least here in the United States, and you know what, this might actually play for everywhere else. The government is a body that is only so big and so powerful. You've seen governments been overthrown throughout history from the people under the government.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, that's the little history lesson. That's kind of how the United States got formed, just because we were being oppressed so hard in England and in other countries and stuff like that. We came over here and we created our own damn country where we have amendments and whatnot that protect us from an oppressive government. So why I'm saying that is the people technically do have the power here. The people can say, okay, we can use Bitcoin as our currency. That's great. We want to do that. And the government goes, well, we need to know everything you use it for and what it was used for and when and why and how. And we can simply go, no,
Yeah.
no.
I do like that 100%.
Screw your dollar. We're going to use Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Companies can start being
exactly.
like, no, I don't care. I'm going to start accepting Bitcoin only.
Yep.
Let's imagine that. Imagine if Apple, one of the biggest United States companies out there, said, no, we're going to accept Bitcoin only. That's it.
Damn.
And you're going to trust us to tell you how much we got so you can tax us appropriately. That's it. Deal with it. What does the
I
US
could see them
government do?
doing that. I could really see them. Apple's the biggest company to do this. They'll straight up say, "Hey, it's our way or the highway" on anything they want. They do that all the time. But going back to this, so I think I found the next credit card I'm going to get, and I hope you guys are listening because this is really really cool. So it's going to be a lot easier to earn Bitcoin now, thanks to a first of its kind credit card, Bitcoin Reward Credit Card. While there are debit cards by Coinbase and Fold that offer Bitcoin rewards, this is the first credit card. So you can earn cryptocurrency instead of points or miles, which I'm like, yes, please. So card holders will earn 1.5 cash back on all purchases that will automatically be converted to Bitcoin and placed into a BlockFi account. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Since Bitcoin earned card transaction is deposited into a BlockFi account, it's regarded as crypto funding. It can also be withdrawn, earn interest, be traded, and used as collateral towards a crypto-backed loan. Thank you for the subscription there. Oh, thank you, Bradford. You gifted out 5. So the Bitcoin credit card will have a $200 annual fee, but it can be offset the first year thanks to the welcome bonus. Earn 250 in Bitcoin after spending 3,000 more on the card, or within the first 3 months of the account opening. Hey, Viper, I think I'm gonna get that card, man.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I want that.
I think we need to get it. I think we need to do it. There needs to be a referral thing too. Oh, I bet there's a wait list. Oh, that was it. Would the wait list will be open to the general public January. Let's see how long it takes to get this card. Let's see if I can get it right now. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm not credit worthy enough to get a card at this moment, but that sounds like it's gonna be my next card as soon as I'm able.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get that one ASAP simply because my job pays for my work, man. So all that money, all that Bitcoin would come back to me. I think I'm going to get that ASAP. Hmm. Like I got
Kind of
tingly.
sucks figuring all this stuff out now when Bitcoin is 50 something $1,000 or $60,000 versus a year ago when it was 4 or a couple of years ago when it was 1,000. Dude, I remember when it reached 1,000, everyone was like, "This is insane. We're at 60,000 right now. Come on."
Bean and Beans, go to. Do you want me to
Yep.
send you the website? Go to the website. You can get on the wait list. We don't have to sign up or anything yet, but you can get on the wait list for it. That's what I'm going to do right now. I know you don't. You don't
Yeah,
have to.
you're gonna have
I'm
to
not.
like
I'm
say
not
it
gonna.
to me.
Yes, you're
Be
almost
like, "Yeah, what's my
there.
password?"
Yeah, I'll send it to you right after this. Yeah. Bonus Bitcoin rewards only from BlockFi. 250 as a sign up in Bitcoin. As long as you spend 3,000, 3.5% Bitcoin rewards on all purchases in 4 months. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot. They're definitely trying to get you $30 in Bitcoin for every client referral. That's a lot of Bitcoin. You only get 10 with Coinbase right now. I need to verify my email real quick. I'm sorry for doing this right now on while we're on here, but this is a really good deal. If you guys are in here, get on the wait list just to see if you can. You know what I mean? You might not get it, but if you're on the wait list, there we go. We're on the wait list. I'm gonna make this a TikTok today. That's what I'm gonna do. Dude, that is genius. You literally get Bitcoin as rewards. As soon as I sent that info to you, I signed up. Dude, I'm gonna make Leah sign up. Like this is ridiculous. Wow. We got 10 more minutes here, and I hate to say we have to end the podcast a little sooner than normal. I wish we could keep going, but that is crazy that this is how you know that they're. Yeah, thank you, Arline. You helped us there, or helped me. That's interesting. We need to share this podcast. You guys need to share this. This is something ridiculous. What better way to earn Bitcoin than on purchases you're already making? You see the cat? The cat's in the back. But yeah, when I travel all the time, I use my credit card points to travel because there's rewards for that. I'd rather be rewarded with Bitcoin. And you are correct. Imagine if you had that credit card and you were getting Bitcoin back when it was 4,000 on your purchases. You'd
Even
be
now, it's at 56,000 right now, and it was at 60,000 just a few days ago or last
yeah,
night or something like that.
yeah.
So you get $30 in there. Now all of a sudden, that $30 is worth 40 or 35.
That is unreal. Upon approval, you'll get a credit limit in USD and receive instant 1.5 cash back in Bitcoin on every transaction. It is the first card to offer this right now, which is interesting how they're sending that. Oh man, that's unreal. Yeah, I'm gonna make a TikTok about this when we get off. What are some other crypto things you wanted to talk about today while we got like a few more minutes, my friend?
Other than um, so there are some cryptocurrencies. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't like uh or let me step back. The security behind
Yeah.
the anonymous side to it. If you wanted the government to not know how much money you had in savings,
Hmm.
you can throw it into stablecoin. And stablecoin are coins that don't go up or down. So to give you an idea, there's cryptocurrency that is pretty much the same as the dollar.
Hmm.
DAI right now, DAI, for example, is a dollar. It's always been a dollar. Every time
Yeah.
I've ever looked at it, it's a dollar. The USD coin is a dollar always. So usually when you put money into your wallet, you purchase USD coin and then you trade USD coin for Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever you want.
Yeah.
So that is something that people can do is like, oh, let's say I don't know, you're going to get an inheritance like that. You don't want the government to count that as taxable income or that because it just absolutely fuck you big time.
Yeah.
You can say, okay, I want this inheritance in USD coin. Give it to me in USD coin. So let's say you get 20 million USD coin. You can just keep it there. It's going to stay at a dollar per coin and you'll get 20 million coins. And
But
the
what
government won't have any insight into that at all. No one will.
But the minute you withdraw it and put it in USD is when the government's gonna be like, "Give me my money," right?
Yep.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you don't have to withdraw all 20 million.
Ooh, I get what
So
you're saying. Yeah.
you got
So withdraw bits and
there's
pieces.
income taxes and then
Yeah.
there's sales taxes. What I'm talking about is getting around income tax.
Yes. 100%.
If you were a billionaire and you decided, "Hey Nick, I'm going to give you $1 million," I guess what? I would have to pay taxes on that $1 million.
A lot.
As soon as that lands into my bank account, next year tax returns, the government's going to be like, "Hey, buddy, we saw you got $1 million last year in March. We're going to have to tax you on that." And you're like, "Well, I already spent the $1 million." Well, that's too bad. You owe us now $400,000 in taxes. Oh shit!
Yeah.
You get fucked big time.
Yeah.
So
That's what happens when
that's a
people
way
get the new
around that.
cars and the new houses. They usually can't pay the taxes on that, let alone get the money that like they'll. A lot of people will just take like Price is Right, for example, is another one where they really don't get those
They'll take
items. They get a
cash.
yep because they don't want to. They can't afford to pay the tax. Yeah, which is crazy
So
because it's a
so if
gift.
if if somebody was going to give me, let's say, a brand new Tesla, they're like, "Here
Yeah.
you go, you got a brand new Tesla." Cars are a little different
Hmm.
because you can do it as a lot of like the Price is Right and whatnot. They do it as like a sell. They're selling
Yeah.
them the car, so the person winning the car has to pay the sales tax on it. Which is the same thing if you go to a dealer, you buy a $30,000 car, you're going to get a couple $1,000s in taxes added onto your loan or the price of the vehicle.
Yep.
But if somebody's going to gift you a car, like let's say you have already bought a Tesla and
Mm.
you're going to give it to me, there's no taxes on that until I register the vehicle, and it's different in every state.
Yeah.
So if somebody's going to give me a car that way, I'd be fine with it. But if somebody's going to give me a car brand new that hasn't been purchased yet, then no, I would take cash value unless I just had the cash in hand and I really wanted the car. But no, I would if the car is $50,000, give me cash value. I would probably take home somewhere around 40 something $1,000. To me, that's better than me having to have a car that is immediately going to depreciate
Yeah.
and be not worth that $50,000 anymore that I've already just forked in 4,000.
Yeah.
Sure, I can turn around and sell it for maybe 30,000 or something like that because it immediately depreciates and I would still make some money, but you got to be smart about it. You take the cash, and if you really wanted to buy that, if you wanted that car, you could take the cash and then go buy that car,
Yes. You can.
or
You
or lease it.
you could
You
do that.
might not know if you really truly want it, so go lease it for a year. You
Yeah.
still have that 40 something $1,000 that can go all towards that lease. You might spend what 9,000 on a year's lease.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, you could be smart about it. What I would do if I had that money and I didn't need a car, I would just take the cash, invest it in something that I think is good, or buy crypto. Honestly,
Yeah,
if I win, like that's why I want this credit card so bad now, because it's just going to be cryptocurrency that would just be building up in value. Because the same thing, like when your hotel points or your credit card points, they're worth some kind of monetary value, but they determine that. Visa, Chase, all of them, they determine what that's worth based on negotiating and whatnot. They won't be able to negotiate what Bitcoin's worth. They will have to pay whatever that price is and give you a piece of it, which is making me very, very happy. I have a TikTok idea now, and I'm glad we had this
it'd be like
podcast,
any
man.
other type of credit card that gives you portions of a stock, which
Yeah.
I can imagine they won't do unless it's their own stock. But let's say you have a Visa credit card and it's from Visa. It's not
Mhm.
backed by any type of bank or institution or anything like that. It's a Visa credit card. And
True.
every time you spent money on that Visa credit card, Visa gave you some of Visa stock. It'd be the same thing because you can trade that Visa stock for cash. But hotel points, you can't trade that stuff for cash, can you? If
No, I
you
mean,
if you
you
had $400,000 worth of hotel points and you were wanting to buy a house, you couldn't sell those hotel points and then go turn around and buy a house. You
you
had to
would
use them at a hotel.
yeah, or you would have to be manipulative and be like, "Hey, I'm going to offer these points to you. They're worth this much to me. You can take them from me. Not from the hotel or anything like that, but for example, I can change all my points to Amazon, but they price it like I know my hotel
At the
points are
market
worth
rate.
yeah, I know my hotel points aren't worth 3 grand. I know they're worth way more, especially when I see how much I can go for at the Maldives and whatnot. Like like a night, one day at the Maldives is like $5,000, and I'm not going to pay that using my point. It's the same thing with when we were talking about those finding those first class flights to go to different areas. It depends on what ratio you get, but they wouldn't be able to decide the ratio, which is what I like. It would be whatever it's worth, and they would have to agree to pay that. I would want to read one little thing, making sure that they can't add anything, which I think Visa did, where they can agree to change things that will, because they got screwed over a few times by people, or they were trying to screw people over, and they realized, nah, you ain't gonna do that to me. That's another topic for another day, but I would just want to make sure that I actually got true cryptocurrency back, and I would be cool. I like Bitcoin. I would love ETH. I would love some of that too, man. Like, this is
Yeah,
interesting.
I have about $30 in ETH, and the only thing that's kind of stopping me from getting more ETH is I've been following Bitcoin for quite a while, so I kind of know it's
Hmm.
whatever the word for it is. I'm familiar with it. I know how it goes up
Yeah.
and down and so on. With ETH, I've only been recently watching it, and it just keeps going back and forth between 1700 to 1900,
Mm.
1700 to 1900, and I don't know why.
I
So
like that, if
it's
I'm
an
being honest with
altcoin,
you.
but
Yeah.
it's more stable. For sure, it's more stable currently, but it's still not. I can't figure out why though. Why is it like that? Whereas Bitcoin, I can figure out why. There's nothing backing it.
Mm.
There's no company, there's no like technology or something other than the blockchain, of course. But that's kind of like default backing every type of cryptocurrency is blockchain.
Yeah.
But so it's simply because people value it that much. So when Bitcoin goes up, it immediately makes me think, okay, something's going on in the world that is making Bitcoin go up. Whereas when ETH goes up, and I'm like, why? Why is it going up? Why is it at 1900 now when it was at 1700 2 days ago? And like a couple days ago, it was at 1900. Now it's back at 1700. I was like, why? Is it just one dude that owns a lot of it that sells it and then buys it and then sells it, and he's just making it go up and down? Like, what's going on?
I think it's
So
more so. Go ahead.
I was just gonna. That's kind of like the same thing with a lot of these altcoins. Litecoin does the same thing. They're
Yeah.
more stable than Bitcoin, but they go up and down, and I have no clue why. So I'm not comfortable with it.
I feel like the reason they go up and down is because normal people are getting into it, and then they're like, "Oh, I made money, and I'm going to sell it now." I think because the minute something
Yeah,
goes up $200, people are like, "That's 200 cash that I didn't have. I want that back now." The same thing with stocks a little bit, but I think we need to do a part two on this podcast. I really do. I don't think we even scratched the surface yet, and unfortunately, we have to get off right now. But I think we do a part two on this, and we go a little deeper into the other one. Especially, I think we could really, you and I, and I'm not saying this to be mean to anybody who owns Dogecoin. I think you and I could tear it apart. I think we could teach a lot of people and tell them why we don't think Dogecoin is really it's a it's not exactly the one we would pick right now. And there's some other ones that we would definitely pick. Check our link tree out because he's going to finish his today, and we'll have Coinbase on there. Remember, if you go sign up on Coinbase, you'll get a slice of Bitcoin, and I'll get a slice of Bitcoin. But even if you don't use my referral, go to Coinbase, start it, get a little slice of something cryptocurrency that you're okay with spending, and utilize that for your future. Because we're doing that, and we're trying to give you what we think you should do. Not telling you, not giving you financial advice, but stuff that we're doing that we like at the end of the day. And we're going to try to do these normally around 1 Eastern time because of the time change now. Arizona doesn't change. Arizona says, nah,
yeah.
we're staying on the same time on the truckers y'all change. And that's
I'm
exactly what
3 hours
happens.
behind now.
Yeah. So we'll start doing it around then. And I'll have a schedule up on my page where you see our podcasting time and you'll see the gaming time. But once again, Meat and Beans, you're amazing. I love your knowledge. Your voice soothes me, makes me happy. Thanks for coming on again to
I
talk about
appreciate it.
this.
Thanks for having me.
And if you guys are in here, go to him and follow him. Like we're friends. We're the same thing but
We much
different.
appreciate
Same but different. Like definitely go do that. And I'm gonna run the little credit stream here. And thank you guys. I love you so much, and we'll catch you guys next time. All right.
it. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.